Before we begin, you're watching AI President Analysis. This is a political analysis podcast for education and discussion purposes only. No endorsements, no affiliations. All information is based on publicly available sources.
Trump is frustrated. Iran will not cave. The deadline passed. The military is ready, but Iran is calling his bluff. And now his own general is telling him it will not work. CBS News reported yesterday, Trump is increasingly frustrated that Iran has not capitulated under pressure. He expected them to fold. They have not. The deadline was 10 to 15 days from February 19th. We are now at day 5. Less than 10 days remain. 2 aircraft carriers in the Persian Gulf, 150 cargo flights delivered weapons and ammunition, 50 fighter jets deployed, military ready to strike this weekend. 90% chance of kinetic action according to a Trump advisor. That number has not changed, but something did change in the last 24 hours. Trump's top general warned him publicly. General David Sain, vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs, he told Congress yesterday that a strike on Iran would face significant challenges. Quote, "We have a munitions shortfall. We lack ally support. Any operation carries significant risk to our personnel and may not achieve decisive results." Unquote. That is a direct warning from the military to the president. This will not be easy. This may not work. People will die. Trump's response, posted on Truth Social last night. The war would be easily won, very easily. Our military is the strongest in the world. Nobody even close. Iran knows this. That is why they will make a deal. The president and his top general are saying opposite things. One says significant risk and uncertain results. The other says easily won. Who do you believe? If you want updates on this as it develops, subscribe right now. This channel tracks presidents, world events, and breaking geopolitics with AI analysis. No spin. Subscribe. Let me show you what happened in the last 48 hours that brought us to this point.
February 22nd, Saturday, military sources tell CBS that forces are ready to strike as soon as this weekend. No strike happens. Iran does not make concessions. Deadline approaches. February 23rd, Sunday, Trump delivers State of the Union address. He mentions Iran. They want a deal. They know what will happen if they do not, but they have not yet said the words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. Until they say it, we wait. That is the new demand. Not just a deal, a public statement renouncing nuclear weapons forever. Iran has not said it. February 23rd evening, oil prices spiked to $71 per barrel, 6-month high. Markets pricing in a $6 war premium. Traders believe war is coming. February 24th, Monday, today, General Cain testifies before Congress. His warning about munitions shortfall and lack of allied support goes public. Washington Post reports Trump is frustrated. He wanted Iran to capitulate quickly. They have not. He is now considering whether to follow through on the threat or back down. February 24th, afternoon, Trump posts that war would be easily won, direct contradiction of his general's testimony. February 26th, Thursday, tomorrow, talks scheduled in Geneva between U.S. and Iranian officials. This is being described as the last chance for diplomacy. If talks fail, strike likely within 48 to 72 hours after that, meaning February 28th to March 2nd. If you think this matters, hit the like button. Let YouTube know people care about war and peace. But there is something else happening in Iran right now that most people do not know about, and it is part of why this is so urgent.
January 2026, 1 month ago, student protests erupted across Iran. The trigger? Iran announced it would enrich uranium to weapons-grade purity, 90% enrichment, one step from a bomb. Students took to the streets, universities in Tehran, Shiraz, Isfahan. They demanded the government stop the nuclear program. They said it would bring war. The Iranian government responded with force. Revolutionary Guard opened fire on protesters, not rubber bullets, live ammunition. Over 3 weeks, the crackdown killed 7,015 people, confirmed deaths, mostly students, some as young as 16. Thousands more arrested, tortured, disappeared. This is what triggered the current crisis. Trump saw the protests. He saw the crackdown. He saw Iran accelerating its nuclear program. That is when he assembled the Armada. That is when the deadline was issued. He framed it as defending the Iranian people, stopping a regime that kills its own citizens, preventing a nuclear weapon. New protests started yesterday, February 23rd. Students back on the streets in Tehran. Smaller this time. They know what happened last month. Videos on social media show crowds chanting, "Down with the dictator. We do not want war. We do not want nuclear weapons." One viral video, 2.8 million views. A young woman speaking to the camera in Farsi, subtitles in English. "If Trump strikes, we die. If our government continues, we die. There is no path that does not end in our blood. The world will not save us. We can only save ourselves." She was arrested later that day. Her current status is unknown. This is the reality. 7,015 already dead. More protests happening now. If war comes, tens of thousands more die, maybe hundreds of thousands. And the people caught in the middle are the ones trying to stop both sides. Comment below if you think Trump should strike or if talks should continue. I want to know what people think. Comment. Now let me break down what actually happens if talks fail, because there are 3 scenarios and none of them are good.
Same 3 scenarios as before, but updated with new context. Keep it fast. If talks in Geneva fail on Thursday, 3 scenarios. Scenario 1, limited strike. Trump hits nuclear sites that were rebuilt after last year's Operation Midnight Hammer. Also hits missile production facilities and Revolutionary Guard bases. Duration 3 to 7 days. Risk, Iran closes Strait of Hormuz. Oil prices spike $20 to $30 per barrel. Global recession likely. Iran retaliates against U.S. bases in Iraq, Syria, and Gulf states. U.S. casualties likely. Scenario 2, extended campaign. This is what General Kane warned about. Weeks-long operation. Targets include everything in Scenario 1, plus oil infrastructure, regime leadership, and broader military sites. Duration 3 to 6 weeks. Risk, munitions shortfall means the U.S. cannot sustain prolonged operations without resupply. Allies have refused to help. We would be alone. Iran's retaliation would be massive. Hezbollah opens second front from Lebanon. Regional war. Scenario 3, regime change. This is what Trump has called ideal. Full decapitation of Iranian leadership, support for internal uprising, prolonged campaign, duration months to years. Risk, Iraq 2.0, no plan for aftermath, civil war, power vacuum filled with worse actors, U.S. occupation, endless commitment. General Kane's warning applies most here. This scenario is what he called not decisive, meaning it will not achieve the goal and it will cost lives for nothing. Trump believes easily won. His general believes significant risk and uncertain results. One of them is right, the other is about to find out. Share this video. People need to understand what is at stake. Share it everywhere. So what happens next? Let me give you the timeline and the AI verdict on where this goes. Timeline first, then verdict. End on Trump versus general tension. Strong close. Timeline. Here is what happens next. February 26th, Thursday, tomorrow. Talks in Geneva. U.S. team led by Brett McGurk, former Middle East envoy. Iranian team led by Deputy Foreign Minister Ali Bagheri. U.S. demand. Iran must publicly renounce nuclear weapons forever and allow full inspections immediately. Iran demand. Sanctions lifted. Frozen assets released. Security guarantees against future strikes. Chance of agreement? Low. Neither side has shown willingness to compromise. February 27th to 28th, Friday to Saturday. If talks fail, Trump must decide. Does he launch the strike his military says is risky and uncertain, or does he back down and look weak? Military sources say if the decision is strike, it happens immediately, within 24 hours of talks failing. March 1st to 5th. If strike happens, this is retaliation window.
Iran closes Hormuz, attacks U.S. bases, missiles fly, oil prices spike, global markets crash, regional war begins. The AI verdict. Trump is in a trap of his own making. He issued a deadline. Iran did not fold. Now he must either strike or back down. Both options make him look bad. If he strikes, his own general says it will not work and people will die. If he backs down, his opponents call him weak. The 90% figure from the Trump advisor is still valid, but here is what changed. The advisor expected Iran to cave before the deadline. They have not. Now the 90% chance is not about pressure working. It is about Trump feeling forced to follow through. General Kane's warning is the most important thing that happened in the last 24 hours. When a top general publicly contradicts the president on the likelihood of success, that is a signal. He is covering himself. If this goes wrong, he warned you. Trump posting war would be easily won is denial, or bravado, or both. But the general sees the classified intelligence, the munitions data, the lack of allied support, the risks. And he is warning Congress, which means he is warning the American people. The talks tomorrow are the last off-ramp. If they fail, this very likely happens. 7,015 Iranians already dead from protests. Tens of thousands of Americans in the region if war starts. Millions affected by oil price spikes and economic fallout. One decision Thursday. Tomorrow. We will know in 48 hours. If you made it this far, you understand how serious this is. Subscribe for updates as this develops. This could be the start of the biggest Middle East war since Iraq. Do not miss the updates. Subscribe. See you in the next one. Pray the talks work.